Hello everyone. I'm gonna wait a little bit because sometimes the recording will chop up the first half of it. Hello everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Taylor Marie. I am an intuitive and I'm here to help you guys with whatever issues that you are having or going through right now. As you guys know, I also have my podcast called The Flying Changes Podcast, which is on Spotify. I will have the link down below. And that is where all of my stories are. But as you guys can see by my surroundings, for the past year, I have been living at my grandma's house. And I am 28 years old. And so by society's standards, that is unheard of. That is something to be shameful about, to have a lot of guilt and resentment about. And while I was living here, I did in fact have my car repossessed, which I talk about on my podcast a little bit further, but everything has to blow up in order to create the life that you actually want to live. And you have to know every piece of it, especially when we're like these teacher souls that came here to help a lot of people. You have to go through it too. Because in order to teach, you have to be on the other side of things. So you have to earn the right. You have to earn the right to be a teacher. I know it's awful. I wanted to create this video today because I am currently moving out, and I'm moving into a house. But it took me quite some time to realize what my missing pieces were. And during the entire stay, I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about being 28 and living here in my grandma's basement, having my car repossessed. Was it this year? It was 2026. Yes, I had my car repossessed in 2026. But yeah, being 28, living in my grandma's basement, and having my car repossessed, not having a job for some time, all of the scary things. Everybody's joining the chat. Hi guys. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that you guys came to today's live and are giving up some of your time throughout the day to hang out with me. How sweet is that? But I wanted to get down to you being valuable regardless if you are living from place to place, not having a vehicle, not having some kind of money coming in. When things like this happen, like I said, it's building a foundation. So by society standards, we go to school, we go to college, you get a job, and then you get married, and then you retire at some point. And that is how we are programmed to be. That is not our core. That is not us at our core. So us at our core, we came here to help a lot of people, but we can't help a lot of people if we don't know who we are or what we want to do in this lifetime. So that's where intuition comes in, and we can narrow in on those things that bring you purpose, bring you fulfillment, and you're able to make a living off of. So I now make a living off of intuition and my skill sets, and I'm able to build off of that. But before, once again, living in my grandma's basement, like nobody wants to be doing that, I promise you. Like what's crazy is I lived in a very, very nice, luxurious apartment. And I had that entire life kind of like swept out underneath of me to learn why I was missing these pieces of self-image, which is what creates the life that you actually want to live. We have to see ourselves as the best in order to help as many people. Very much so that analogy of like If the plane's going down, you put on your mask to help other people. If you are not feeding yourself right, if you're not sleeping at night, if you are not maintaining a regulated nervous system, you're going to be all over the place. You're going to be chaotic. You're going to be creating a lot of chaos in your life. If you're good and if you're putting yourself first, other people can then be helped off of that. So a lot of it comes back to treating yourself how you should be treated in order to be getting all of the things that you want in life. You cannot create a good partnership with a soul partner, a soul mate, a soul complement without having the knowledge of self-image and seeing yourself in this divine light. So while I was going through all of this, you guys, when I was going through living in my grandma's basement, I had to root to how I am the best. It doesn't matter what my circumstances. It doesn't matter if my car just got repossessed. It doesn't matter if my whole entire family is this is the story. My whole family was texting and calling me while my car was on the tow truck and being like, "Oh my God," like obviously worried for me, but like everybody else's own limitations come to the table when they see something happen to somebody else that's close with them. And so everybody had their own ideas around that. And I got so many phone calls of, "What's going on? Like, are you okay? What is happening with you?" Not understanding the bigger picture. So we do live with this law, and it's called we live with this law, and it's called the law of soul balance. So the pendulum has to swing. If you've been very, very limited in your beliefs at one point, somebody's going to piss you off enough for you to swing that pendulum to the other end to be like, "I am the most important. I don't give a hoot about what anybody else thinks. I have to put myself first." And then you will see that pendulum swing to the other side, right? Like, nobody cares. Okay, well then I'm gonna care, and y'all can all take a back seat to that. Because knowing that when you put yourself first, you can help the most people, all the souls that are in need of guidance from you. So I wanted to make this video to like set you guys at ease with my testimony that like, yes, I have in fact lived in my grandma's basement. I have in fact had my car repossessed. While I was having my car repossessed, I talk about this on my podcast, but I had started calling everybody I knew. I called everybody I knew, called everybody I knew, called everybody I knew. The guy that I was talking to at the time ghosted me. My friend ghosted me. Because I was ghosting myself. I was ghosting my emotions. I didn't want to be in my body when all of this was happening because it was wildly uncomfortable and it made me feel wildly not valuable. Even though at my core, I have to root to how I am so valuable that regardless if I have a car or not, I'm still valuable. And it's hard to do those things, especially when chaotic things are happening in your life like that. And with all of the lessons that come with all of that. And I've also had, guys, I've gone through it. I've had bullets go a foot from my head when I was sleeping in an apartment. I've had all of these situations happen where it makes you become aware to the fact that you are creating your reality, and it's through intuition that we are able to balance everything out. So I wanted to come to you guys today and just give my testimony and tell you that you're doing really good with the circumstances and the beliefs that you've had growing up. You're doing wildly good. You're doing the best you can with what you have, and all we can do is build from a foundation. The foundation might not be great, but when you build the foundation, nothing can tear that down. Nothing can tear that down. So the power that you have internally is the light that is going to emit from your body. And by that, I mean, we have this thing called an electromagnetic field And that is intuition. That's how we read. That's how we read into people's fields. There's certain cars now that will pick up on, sensors around the vehicle that will pick up on electromagnetic fields, and it can read whether a person is like walking in front of you. And so the car will pick up on the field. We are light beings. We are built off of rays of light. And so when we tap into intuition, we can read the light off somebody's body, physical body, and we're able to pick up on their thoughts, their emotions. There's different layers of this, and you can study it. It's something that we can go into and study, but it's understanding how intuition works, understanding how you're able to read somebody's mind. It's not a crazy thing. It's actually proven by science at this point. And that's really cool, by the way. They just started proving that this year. Lots of studies came out about electromagnetic fields and communications outside of just verbally, and how your emotions can shift. If somebody in the room is holding a dense emotion like anger, you can pick up on that, and depending on how many times they've practiced that emotion, you'll pick up on their emotional field. So if you've ever been like in a room with an angry parent, you just know. You're like, that is not something that I want to entertain right now. They are angry. I do not want to talk to them. But we pick up on these things, and we are able to translate what's going on with them. So, hi, my name is Taylor. I'm an intuitive. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below, and I can answer them for you, whether it's about somebody who's crossed over, whether it's about your circumstances as you are right now. I'd be happy to help you. And I want to be as of much service as I can to you guys, with all the knowledge that I can bring through. So if you guys have any questions, just let me know in the comments down below. I would be happy to help you. If you guys are having financial difficulties, we can talk about reflections. You guys have me for the next 30 minutes. Lucky you. So we can go into reflections really quickly, but I also have my podcast. As you guys know, I have a podcast where I talk about all of my testimonies, as far as whether we're talking about paranormal situations, whether we're talking about bullets going a foot from my head while I was asleep, whether we're talking about my car being repossessed, living in my grandma's basement, all of my stories. I would love to talk to you guys about anything you're interested in, whether it is understanding the creator field or reflections. I can go into reflections really quickly, but the reason that I started understanding intuition was actually really funny. I was getting on dating apps, you guys. I was getting on dating apps when I was like 23, 24, 25. And I started having conversations with these guys, and I would read their mind, and I would bring up things that happened to them in the past. And I actually got banned off of the app because I freaked somebody out so much. So that's so funny. He was like, you know too much information, I'm reporting you. And so, yeah, I started reading people like that. I would get on dating apps because my self-image was so low, so low. And I wanted a man to fill the void for me. And so I would constantly go onto dating apps because my early 20s, I had a taste of somebody coming into my life and being pretty much me in another body, something that we would call a soulmate, meaning they match me in 4 different areas: mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. So that would bring about a soulmate, and that's something that you can read with intuition if somebody is compatible with you. But he was compatible with me in all 4 areas, which I talk so much about intimacy. I talk so much about relationships and patterns going on there. But I had had a taste of a soulmate coming into my life, and my life became obstacle after obstacle with him because he was going through his own stuff. And so it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with me and him for a very, very long time. Even recently. Still trying to get to the bottom of some of the things, but as I learn more about self-image and I learn more about reflections and how people are just mirroring the low percentages that you have as far as like your abilities. These people are gifts, and a lot of people are unaware that your relationship is going to be one of the hardest things to maintain in your life because of the amount of obstacle that comes up with it. And with that being said, you can see her in the background. Another little fun fact is that I work with horses. So I work with horses, and I've flown across the United States to go work with horses. But with having this soul mate in my life and not working with horses in this lifetime, which is what my soul came here to do, he would reflect that and not want anything to do with me when I wasn't pushing toward working with horses. So a reflection is, a lot of people have like financial reflections right now, like a financial obstacle coming up. And so when the financial obstacle comes up, it has nothing to do with finances. It's usually a different area of life that you don't prioritize. The obstacle is the thing that you're not looking at. But since you are so prioritized on finances, it will show up there. So your higher self creates your life and creates all the things in it. And when your higher self created all of these things, your higher self has these abilities to see you to your core being. And so your core being doesn't see any limitation, but you grow up in a household where there's a lot of limitation. So my limitation was always around kind of like an abandonment thing, like an abandonment wound. I am an only child, and I talk a lot about this on my podcast. And with that being at the core of like my self-image, I created entire life off of having fear around abandonment. And that's kind of the funny thing, is that you can never be abandoned. You always have guides and source and all of these beings around you at all times, but I was under the impression that people were just leaving me. Like my own dog growing up wanted nothing to do with me. The one thing that's supposed to give you like unconditional love and attention, he wanted nothing to do with me. So I was like, great, I'll just be sad in a corner. I'll be a sad little rat in the corner. And I created an entire life off of the fear of people leaving me. And so I would always jump into relationships because I was like, that's gonna fix me. Trying to fix myself from the outside, right? Trying to fix myself from things. I was like, if I just have the best living situation, then people will love me. No. My higher self's like, you're gonna love yourself regardless of anything. And I've had to build my self-image back up from the ground, whereas I think a lot of people, if they didn't have certain things in their life, they wouldn't feel valuable. You know, a lot of people buy the car, buy the Lamborghini so that they feel valuable. But your value is placed in the Lamborghini or whatever it is. So going back to what I was saying earlier with intuition, we're able to kind of bypass obstacles, which I've had 1,000,003 different obstacles come into my life. And so I've just had to navigate myself through this crazy situation that has been, you know, my life unfolding in all of these ways. And so I think getting online, getting on YouTube, and then also my podcast, talking about my testimony, talking about how I thought I had it all going on. I've had $10,000 months, but I've blown everything up as well. I've built things up and then blown it up, and then built things up and then blown it up. So I know what works what doesn't work. And I know a lot of women out there are wanting the partnership, but we just don't have the tools. We don't have the keys to like hold it. And so then you get online, or if you're anything like me, I got online and I was like, well, if I just do affirmations, then then I will make this person love me, or whatever it is. The affirmations didn't work. Turns out the affirmations didn't work. The sleep tapes didn't work. I would sleep with a tape on going, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. It doesn't get past your conscious brain. There's your subconscious brain and there's your conscious brain. They speak different languages, okay? Your subconscious brain is picking up on all of the patterns around you and all of the things that you know are true about yourself. And so with understanding self-image, if you were taught when you were little to just negate all of your needs and wants in a relationship dynamic, you will do that in order to try to fill yourself up with the love that they give you, and it's never going to be enough. So I like to come online and not only help women, but help men understand not only their dynamics in a relationship with intuition, maybe what their highest potentials are, but then also incorporate all of the things that are made up of your skill sets, what you are here to bring and do in this lifetime to help the collective. As you guys know, we're in this collective right now that is very keen to doom scrolling and people mindlessly giving away their energy because they don't have any kind of foundation. When we have a foundation, we can build off of that. But when we have no foundation, it falls. And then we get upset, and then we get in this spiral of like, woe is me. If I can every single day implement something in my self-image that will propel me forward, I then am able to create a really cool life off of just that. So that's where intuition comes into play, because I can look into somebody and see different skill sets that you have in this lifetime, and then we compound off of that. Once you know your skill sets, you're golden. Like once you know some of your skill sets, you can then build off of those to go make millions of dollars and help other people. But if we don't know what our skill set is, we're just like, well, I'll go to school and become an accountant. When your soul's like, please, let's not do that. Your soul's like, I made you so perfect. I made you with all these attributes. You make people laugh. You light up a room. You find solutions where solutions aren't available. You're here to do that, not to use a calculator to help people with their taxes. Even though maybe that is your maybe that is your calling. Maybe I'm just ignore me. But you came here with very specific traits and attributes that are a gift to this world. And when we're not every single day actively compounding those attributes or those skill sets, we are then pushing all of our potentials out of the door and not helping as many people as we came here to help. So through my testimony of blowing my life up, as you guys can see, I live in my grandma's basement at this current moment. I am moving in a few days, and I'm here to help you in every single way that I can. And I love to get to know you guys with your stories. I have so many, especially women, coming to me being like, I had a partner come into my life and it was wonderful. It was magical the first 2 months. And that's what a higher self will do. A higher self will rope you in, and a higher self will rope you into this dynamic and be like, see how good it can be. It's this honeymoon phase that lasts like 2 to 3 months, sometimes 6 months. And the higher self is like wanting you to get attached to that so that we fight for it. But most people will be like, that was a honeymoon phase, get rid of them, because now they're a red flag. If somebody's showing up as a red flag, it's your own reflections. It's your own, majority of the time, it's your own reflections. It's your own obstacle. It's your own lessons that you came here to learn. They are just playing a script. So with that being said, you guys, I have now been on here for like 30 minutes. If you guys have any questions about anything, I would love to help you guys in answering any comments you have down below. Once again, my name is Taylor Marie. If you want my full stories, this is more of like a live Q&A situation, but if you guys want my full stories, I have my podcast, Flying Changes Podcast. The image of my podcast is like an old art screen of a computer, and then there's horses on it. It says Flying Changes Podcast. And you can listen to all my testimonies and my stories there, as well as a lot of really, really cool tools that I have on my podcast. I can't wait to talk to you guys very, very soon. And I think I'm going to start doing these regularly every single week, if not like twice a week, coming on here real quick and sharing all of the things with you guys. But once again, feel free to email me or comment down below with any questions you have. I love you guys so very much, and I'll talk to you real soon.